we quit workout plans and nutrition plans because we don't see results, right? If we saw results, we would definitely keep with it, unless like a life event or something happened, right? But so often we quit, and it got me thinking about why do we walk away generally? Because we're not seeing the results that we want. Okay, well, what are the results that we want that we're not seeing? And so often you guys will message and say, hey, I'm feeling better finally, I'm sleeping better, and I actually feel stronger. And then there's the but, and I know exactly what's going to come after the but, because I've been there, and you guys, so many of you are there. But the scale's not changing, my body, the measurements haven't changed a whole lot. And you guys, I get it. You want to see results, right? You're working hard, time, money, it's a big sacrifice. But a lot of times we've got to remember, are we having the right mindset with this? You're changing your life, right? Ultimately, that's what we want to do. We want to get the best, strongest, healthiest version of you, not the lightest. I don't care what you weigh. You shouldn't care what you weigh, as long as we have the healthiest and strongest version of you. And you don't know what that is. That might end up being 10 pounds heavier. That might be 20 pounds lighter. That might be the exact same poundage. It ultimately, and I know you guys know this, even though we have a strong, strong mental connection to the scale, you know it doesn't matter what your body weighs, right? None of us will know. There's no gauge to like what a perfect body should be. We want you to feel and look healthy and strong. Ultimately, that is the goal. And then the product of that, being the strongest, healthiest version of you, is it will reflect on the outside, right? Because healthiest, strongest version of you is on the inside, but we want that to be reflected on the outside. And that's where you'll have more muscle tone, we'll start to lose body fat, right? Those are the rewards of all the hard work we've put in. But we're not in the mindset of results driven. I don't want you to have the mindset of I'm only doing this for results. I want you to see like, no, I need to change my life, and I want a plan that helps me change my life so my habits are all in line that will give me results that are a lower number on the scale, if that's something that you really want. But more importantly, less body fat is how I like to term it, because I don't know what that number will end up being on a scale. And that you're strong mentally and physically, right? So I have a mindset of something I can control. How strong and healthy can I get? So I focus so much on my daily habits, so much, instead of the results. It takes months, no joke, years to get to some of the results that we want. And if we're always looking at just, well, did I hit that number yet? Am I at a certain body weight? Did I lose weight? Did I lose weight? Am I doing this and that? It's going to derail you. And you look at anyone else that's gone through this, or if you have in the past. So just focus on, I want to be healthy, right? I know I want to be healthier. And even if that number doesn't change on the scale, if you can say, you know what though, I'm healthier doing what I'm doing. The number doesn't reflect, I may not look exactly like I want to, but I know this is the healthiest, best version of me. And why would we stop a plan that gives you the healthiest version of you, even if necessarily the scale doesn't change? And I know that you get that. I get that there's the mental thing there, but ultimately I know that you understand, no, I do want to be healthy for the long-term repercussions, and just so that you can be the best version of you, right? No matter what that means that you weigh. So how do I view calories? I don't view them as an in or out energy, right? Which I know logically is. I don't view it as that. I view it as a gauge of how well I'm hitting my habits, because I have daily habit goals, just like I'm trying to encourage you guys to also. Because again, as cheesy as it is, you'll hear me say this over and over and over again, we are not changing your scale, right? We're changing your life. So when you look at it that way of, I have a lot of habits that have gotten me to where I am now, right? So if you're 5 pounds overweight or 100 pounds overweight, the nutrition and fitness program that you have had for the prior months or years are ingrained in you. And those habits is what gotten you to exactly where you are right now. And if you have any extra body fat, right, it's a sign that you're out of balance. Just like if you're filling a car with gas, a car only needs so much gasoline. And if you don't, if you fill it over what it needs, it spills out onto the ground, right? It doesn't know what to do with extra because it doesn't need that. Your body's the same way. If you overeat, if we're having and we don't exercise enough, so that balance is right there, right? Your body, it doesn't spill out like gas, it holds it as body fat. And so you want to have the healthiest version of you. And if your body's saying, hey, I got too much crap in here, I don't know what to do with it, so it stores as body fat, well, we want to figure out where that number should be as far as what those calories are with your habits, that we're putting enough food in it and exercising enough that it says, hey, this is my comfort zone, this is where I'm going to feel best. And then no matter, depending on your genetics, how your body will look at its best, right? We cannot control what you'll look like at your optimally healthy best, but I can control what I'm putting in it and how I'm exercising by the program that you're on so that you feel and am your healthy best, right? And then the result side is we'll see what the body looks like at its healthiest best. And we don't know what it will look like or what it will weigh. But every day, focus on your habits. So again, the calories, how are they a gauge of your habits? So I look at my macros like this. If I have certain habits like one, first and foremost, hit your protein, right? That's number one. I wouldn't even recommend counting calories or tracking macros if you can't hit your protein. So work on just that, finding ways to do it every 3 to 4 hours, 2 to 3 hours, how often you can. Finding the right supplement that will help, whatever you need to do to get your protein. That's changing a habit because we're not used to eating that many grams of protein. So you just focus on one thing, and it may be reminders all over. Maybe setting timers on your phone. Hey, it's been 3 hours. It may be lots of research online to get different protein ideas. It's changing something, right? And so my macro, if I hit that number of 140 to 145 grams a day, that tells me that my habit of hitting and eating and consuming my protein is on point. Now, if I'm 30 under, my habit's not great, right? I don't have a good habit of eating enough protein. If I'm way over, too far, okay, my habit is I've got too much, I've got to rein it back. But it's the same thing with the other macros and calories. If you're over in calories and storing body fat, that tells me that your habits are out of line, meaning that you're probably still overeating. We're eating too much. We're not stopping when we're satisfied. We're having that habit of finishing our entire plate, the habit of grazing all day, the habit of eating too much sugar. So now that your carbs are going to be through the roof. So if you have a super high carb number, that tells me that you got way too much refined sugar in your system, which is going to lead to a whole bunch of problems, insulin and blood, all those issues. It tells me that you're probably addicted to certain sugars, you're eating too much soda. There's numerous things that come from high carb grams. And then if you don't have enough healthy fats, right? I know your hormones are going to be off, and I know you're going to feel great. And so those numbers tell me, I can look at someone's macros and be like, oh, wow, yeah, all of their habits, they don't have good nutritional habits. And I say good, meaning healthy, right? Because there's an optimal calorie macro number for everybody where your body should be at, how much you need, just like how much gas goes in a car. And your habits are off if you're continually above. Now, you can't be beneath either because you're not going to put on muscle. It's just like you can't fill a car only halfway and expect to get somewhere that's a full tank of gas. You're not going to get there because you only have half. It is important. You must eat enough. Eating is important. So don't focus on the scales not changing. Don't focus on I want to lose body fat. That shouldn't be the driven results focus. You want to focus on great. Let me make a list of all the things that I'm not very good at during the day that have kept me from reaching my goals and have gotten me the body, energy-wise and physically-wise, where I am today. We have to be brutally honest. And it's not look at this long list, I'm never going to get it all, I'm overwhelmed. Don't look at it that way. Look at it as an opportunity list of all the things that you're going to change, and don't get overwhelmed. Now you're just going to see like, oh crap, she was right. It's going to take a long time to change these. These aren't overnight things. It's been years of doing that and your body's only used to it. So make a list. My list was so long. I don't eat very many fruits and vegetables. I don't get enough fish, so I don't have my omega-3s. I didn't eat enough protein. I had way too much sugar, so my carbs were through the roof. I had horrible fats. They weren't healthy fats. That's why my hormones were off and I was tired. And the list goes on and on. I grazed all the time. And so pick something. Pick one or two of those habits and work on them. And as you work on those habits, then your macros will start to also line up. So if you're like, hey, I can never hit my macros, they're always off. What do I do? It's frustrating. Don't focus on the number being off. Focus on what habits you're doing every day because you don't necessarily understand what your body needs. Because if you understand why, okay, well, I need this many carbs, I need this many fats, and then understand the foods you're putting in your body, that will make more sense. But it's first the habit that we're working on. So make that list, come up with things that help you identify where did I get to where I am now, and let's work backwards. As I've said, I always encourage protein number one. You must have protein. That's going to be responsible for changing your body composition. You're working your butt off. You're tearing the muscles in the gym. They will not grow back bigger and stronger. They will not be repaired if you don't have protein in your system. Protein's responsible for repairing tissues. We tear the muscle fibers, right? Those are tissues. Protein's going to build that back bigger and stronger. Just like if you get a burn, they will tell you within the first few days at the hospital, increase your protein because that's going to help repair your skin from a burn. So at a cellular level, you need protein, especially, and that's going to, one of our goals, right, is to change our body composition. So that's going to help you lose that body fat, but put muscle back on. So focus on that. Then if you can do that, great. start tracking your calories, see where you are. And the only reason I have you do that is because I want you to know if you're overeating, because we talk all the time about stopping when you're satisfied. Don't eat the entire plate of food. Don't drink the whole can of soda. Don't eat the whole cookie. Don't eat the whole sandwich. Just every day to lose weight, don't cut out, huge food groups. Just reduce the serving sizes of what you are eating, and you will cut out so many unnecessary calories just right there. And so if you're tracking your calories, it's just that gauge of how much gas am I putting in the car. That's all I want to know. I don't care where your destination is. I don't care what the scale says. I care if you're putting enough gas in your car. We don't want to be under, because then you're not going to have enough energy, and we don't want to be over, because then you're not going to have the right kind of energy and you'll have more body fat. So think of, right, filling the gas. What kind of gas are you putting in the car? The same with your body. And it takes time to figure out what does your body need and want. And because it's been so long with the habits that you've had to get you where you are, it's going to take a long time to reverse those habits, but also the body to catch up and adjust to these changes and then get you the results that you want. So within a week, 2 weeks, no, you're not going to see changes. Hopefully energy levels will be better, but just be patient. It is a process of you figuring out what does your body want and need. And that does take time. And then again, as you're figuring that out, because we're getting the healthiest, strongest version of you, right? And then it's going to be exciting, because what does that healthiest, strongest version of you look like? And maybe you've been there in the past, but you've aged. It's not going to be the same. So do not compare yourself to where you were even 3 years ago. It's a new version of you. And we'll see what that ends up looking like. So keep that in mind. As far as setting the numbers, if you have usually if you're within 10 pounds, I keep you at a maintenance level, but you have to understand, if you're eating out all the time, if you don't know what you're cooking or how much fat grams are in it, your numbers are gonna be all over the place. You may have 2,000 calories one day, 1,200 calories another day, 1,400 calories here, 1,700 calories there. And you're like, why am I not losing weight? Where your body doesn't know how to metabolize that. It doesn't know what to expect. Some days it's burning way more, other days there's not enough. So it's like, I got to hold on to the body fat. So you have to understand, like, there are many reasons we don't lose weight. And if you're way up and way down and way up and way down, it's gonna be really hard for your body to figure out the metabolism. And so you've got to be consistent. So that's why I suggest tracking, because then, it's like sometimes weighing things out, because you have to streamline it. Your metabolism has to be steady. And the other days that you'll overeat, eat a little bit less the next day, but you've got to have some sort of consistency with your eating. And if you're used to eating out, right? If you're used to all of these things that you have no clue what you're eating, how many calories are in it, what you're consuming, you can't expect to necessarily change your body or to lose weight unless that changes too, because those kind of meals have gotten you to where you are. So either eat less of them, right? So just your serving sizes are less, or take the time to figure out how many calories are in that meal, and maybe that's one that you shouldn't have, and there's something that you can replace it. Right? So if we're within about 10 pounds of wanting to lose 10 pounds of body fat, I would say stick to that body maintenance number. But that means you've got to be very aware of where you are, because very, very easily 1 or 2 protein bars can put you over. You also have to hit your protein. So you can be at maintenance, but hit your protein. You will lose weight and put on muscle. You don't have to be in a surplus just to put on muscle. I was in a deficit for a while, but not too far of a deficit, and I nailed my protein every day. That's going to be huge. If you have over 10 pounds of body fat to lose, then I put you to a deficit of either 250 or 500, and you'll lose about a pound of fat a week. That may not show up on the scale though, right? A pound of fat and body muscle can switch, and it changes, and it's not reflected on the scale. So again, don't watch the scale for that kind of progress. And then in time, as you start to lose some of that body fat, will increase the calories back up a little bit, but make sure you hit your protein again also. And then everybody I know wants to put on muscle, but I don't put anybody in a surplus, because we add body fat with that, and then nobody wants that. So we can still build muscle if you're hitting Death Plus 3, you're lifting a lot and hitting your protein. You can be in a slight deficit. So keep that in mind, the mindset, right? Review your mindset. Do not be results driven. Get the healthiest, strongest version of you, and then your body will follow suit with whatever that ends up looking like. But you'll be way happier because you feel better and you know you're making good choices. Focus on those habits, write that list, come up with things that you want to change long term. Have the expectation that this will take well over a year. This doesn't happen overnight, because if you are just focused on the calorie number and not changing any of your actions, the second you go to town, you have a stressful moment, you decide to give up because you're tired of doing this, you will gain all the way back because nothing in your life changed. You're just trying to hit a number that means nothing to you. Whereas now we're changing these habits to get your healthiest version. The number is the gauge of how well you're doing hitting those things, and it's long term. So if you decide you don't want to track anymore, just great. You have healthier habits and you're going to feel better. So let me know your thoughts on this. any other questions, and just know you can do this. It's okay. We're all in the same boat. It takes everyone the same amount of time.